Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the SparkVue motion sensor that we have at Santa Teresa High School. The kids will pretty much know how to hook things in, but some of them need a little more help with what they can do. So on the Chromebooks, it's going to be similar, not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. So you're looking down here for this thing called SparkVue. Once everything's plugged in, it should work. And then you're always going to choose Build New Experiment. And then normally for layout, we only need one thing, and we normally do graphs. If we need something else, you can choose the other ones and play around with it. So you notice it says here, select a measurement. It always defaults to time over here, and this little thing can toggle back and forth depending on what you want. But normally time is fine. Depends. But see, for the motion sensor, I have my choice of position, velocity, or acceleration. So let's do a position time graph. And if we do a position time graph and I push start, I'm going to have nonsense data because I don't have anything with me. I'm just going to use my hands. So I push start, and then I'm just going to go like this and then come back. So you can see that some of my data, it just saw nothing, but here is the good data. So this is the selection tool. So I can say, I just really want that section. If I want to, I can expand just that section. If, let's say, oh, that looks kind of like it's a parabola or a linear fit, I can go to my, let's add slope. I don't want that. This is a linear fit, and this one is a curve fit. So if I want to do a linear fit, I can do it like that. But let's say, it doesn't really look very linear. Let's do a quadratic fit. So I say, okay. And that to me looks better. I can move this around. It's still not a great fit. Let's see if I can see if it's actually doing that part. Yeah, you can tell because see how it's yellow, so you know that's the part that's being fit. But let's say, well, you know, maybe it's because I went too far. Let's see if I can get a better quadratic fit. So notice how it's fitting the data better as I do that. And I can bring this in here. And now it's a much better quadratic fit if I'm doing a quadratic fit. And it even tells me my values for everything. So it tells me what usually the only exponent I care about is A. If I wanted to, I could go back and do a linear fit for that same section. Notice it gives me my R squared value, which is 0.997, which is pretty good. If this was a position time graph, obviously the slope would give me the speed. But I can easily change this to velocity, right? So I can change it up and I can make it velocity, but then I have to figure out where the velocity was constant, so I might have to auto scale the selection, which is not doing very good. So then I'm going to select this section where I think it was and auto scale it. So now you can kind of see. So maybe on this one I wanted to figure out my average velocity, so I can go to mean here, and it can tell me the average velocity for right there, which is close to what the slope was, right? And then I could do an acceleration graph if I wanted to. My acceleration should be fairly close to 0, so again I can select this section, right, auto scale it. If I did the average here, it should be pretty darn close to 0, right? That's 1.59, really? Okay, well, it just depends. Oh, because I have this section over here, right? So I can pull that section in, maybe, yeah, there, and pull it in there. It's still looking like it's decided the acceleration is about 0.26. But, you know, you got to use the data for what it's worth. If I go back to a velocity time graph, the other cool thing is if I can get a section where I can actually see the velocity on there, not very well. Let me get a different graph for that part. So let's say we want to start again. So let's see if I change this. Yeah, let's see if we can make it have an actual slope. I don't know how good I can do this without a car. So I'm going to push start, and I go, whoo! Oh, not very good. So I can choose whether I'm seeing run 2, run 3, run 1. If I can auto scale this guy, maybe we can use this section right here where it actually looks like there's something going on. So I can actually, and again, maybe I just want to get the area into that curve, so I want to just find my displacement for that section. So you can actually choose under the sigma, and remember the sigma's down here, the sigma's up here. You can say, oh, I want to find the area, and then you can find the area under that curve, and it tells you what it is in meters. That's simple. If you really want a data table, you can get data from here, but most of the time they can just get their points this way. They can also pick a point source like this, and they can actually find the value of any particular point, right? And again, I can change it to position if I wanted to, and then it's showing me all the runs. So I can just go back to that run, and I can just show this part. If I want to get rid of data, you go to this little tool down here, and you can say manage runs, and you can choose a run to delete. So maybe I want to delete run 3. So I say okay, so now that one's gone. This just toggles back and forth for where the numbers are. If I want a data table, I can come over here, I can say add a new page, and I can say, oh, this time I want to have a table, and then it will show me a table in there. Oh, I thought I had data. I do. And I can say I want that to be time, and I want that to be position. There it is. And so now I can have run 2, or I could have run 1, so then it gives me the data for that. And you can keep doing that. Let's say I really wanted to know the values as they were going, so I could have it showing me digits, right? And then if you push start, it tells me the exact, I didn't click measurement, so nothing's measuring. So I can take position, and so I say start, and it can actually tell me the position that it's seeing as you're going. So that's basically all you need to know for this.